really thinking about how can technology completely change the way we not only engage with our customers, but enable our employees to deliver the best service to those customers day in and day out. And so this presentation will be taking you through this journey of what should we be thinking about, why should we be thinking about it, and what are the things that you can be doing differently because of what's going on in the market today. But before I get into that, I'd like to set the scene. You know, ultimately, there's so much coming at you. If you've been at this conference for the last day and a half, there's so many ideas, whether it's artificial intelligence, machine learning, virtual reality, augmented reality. It doesn't really matter. At the end of the day, it's like there's something new every single moment. And how do we navigate those things requires us to take the time to do it. And I think you have really shown by coming to an event like this that it's important to you to make sure you stay ahead of what's coming around the corner next. And the only way you can do that is understand the context of what's going on in the market. Ultimately, it's about what's happening in a global basis around how the communities, cities, government, education system, healthcare, banks are using technology now today, and how we as humans are using it. And so we are now in what the World Economic Forum calls the fourth industrial revolution. It's interesting because I feel like we just got into the fourth, and now there are rumors that we are approaching the fifth. And so while it was decades and centuries to get us from the first to the second to the third, we're now in this connectivity fourth industrial revolution, and we feel like the next one is this hyper-personalization. What will be coming around the corner will be things that are very unique to us as human beings. It will be cities that sense where we are and what we're doing. Healthcare will anticipate what we may need next. Education will become much more fluid about how we learn, how we're going to learn, and democratizing that and giving education equally around the globe. So if you think about how am I planning for the next stage of my company's growth, or how am I planning for the next stage of raising venture capital, know that we are rapidly approaching what's going to be coming next, potentially this fifth industrial revolution. And what's driving that is really this digital transformation. And I want to start by saying that it gets tossed around a lot. Digital transformation, disruption, innovation. And while I like those words, if I went around this room and asked you all to tell me the definition of what that means to you, I would probably get a couple hundred different definitions. But I always like to start with this definition that it doesn't really matter what we think as business owners, as CEOs, as entrepreneurs, as founders. What really matters is what our customers think, what it means to them. And so they say to us in a survey that we did that ultimately they expect better experiences by you leveraging the technology that you already have in-house. What are you already using? Are you using it to its maximum capacity? Are you making sure that you aren't being passed by your competitors because you're not using technology in new and innovative ways? But ultimately now they're saying, I want you to also use new technologies. I now know that I can get from what I can do on Uber, or how I can order coffee, or how I can check into my hotel room, or what I can do on voice in my home, or how I can control my temperature, how I get directions in my car. All of these consumer experiences that have made their way into our lives are now expected to happen in our business lives as well. And so if you're not using those new technologies, basically what the customers have told us is it means you have apathy towards them, that you don't care enough about them as your customers to actually make those investments in technology to help your relationship be more seamless, less friction, and driving these compelling moments of amazing customer experiences. So technology is to run the business, yes, but it's also to enable your employees to deliver these amazing experiences day in and day out. So now how do you navigate that? If we're moving rapidly towards this fifth industrial revolution, your customers are demanding you use technology in new and innovative ways. They will leave you if you don't. How do you navigate it? The first thing that we realized was there were 4 main pillars, no matter where we were in the world that the survey was conducted. And I get the opportunity to travel pretty much every week somewhere in the world having very similar conversations with startups and founders and established companies. And it doesn't matter, somewhere, somehow in the conversation, we end up with these 4 pillars. The first being this experience. The experience that you have as a customer, as a citizen, as a student, as a patient, as an employee, those experiences that you have with the company or the brand or the institution that you're dealing with. And ultimately, this customer experience has reached a tipping point. In my prior life, I used to work at a company called Gartner. I was a research fellow there, driving research around customer experience being as important as the products and services that were being sold. I was part of the team that made the prediction that marketers were going to spend more on technology than the CIOs by last year. Thankfully, that prediction came true. It actually blew that number out. But what that means is we as customers and consumers care about this experience even more today than we thought that we would. And the reason why is because you all will remember, I will remember, the experience we have with a brand much longer than the price that we paid.